Yo, what is going on, guys? Got another deck profile for you guys today. This is going to be my take on Ulforce Vidramon. I really enjoyed this deck. It is so much fun. It's just a very aggressive deck, a very fast-paced deck. So if you are that type of player, if you do enjoy more combo-based cards and just a very fast playstyle, I would highly recommend looking into some of these blue cards because things like All Force Vidramon, things like Leopardmon, even Metal Garurumon as well, they're just very fun cards to play. So this is my All Force Vidramon build. Let's go ahead and get into it. So to start things off with the rookies, we've got, of course, 4 of the Jamming Vmon, as well as 4 of the BT2 Vmon here. I'm playing both because they are just so essential in the blue strategy. This Vmon, because he has Jamming, that is just absolutely amazing. It puts pressure on your opponent immediately. You can play him for a 3 cost or Digivolve him in your raising area, and your opponent already knows some stuff is about to go down. They better put out a blocker, otherwise they're going to be in trouble. So very good for that, and just a solid card when paired with things like Demi Vmon as well as X Vmon if you were playing him, or things like Aero Vidramon. Now, this Vmon, of course, is fantastic in tandem with All Force Vidramon once per turn. If the Digimon on top of him becomes active, you get to draw 1 card. So anytime you put down Aero Force, I keep saying Aero Force, Aero Vidramon, the ultimate, you guys know what card I mean, and you make him active, then you get to draw a card. Anytime you make him active with All Force, you get to draw a card. So blue has a lot of draw power going for it, and it just helps make your deck consistent and draw your combo pieces. Now, the last rookie I am playing is, of course, Gabumon. When played, you get to draw 1 card from your deck. Pretty much a staple in most blue decks. This card is solid overall. Now, I'm not actually playing more than 12 rookies, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit later. If you wanted to play more, I would suggest maybe Gomamon. A nice 2 cost to play is always good to have. Now, for the champions, of course, as offensive as this deck is, I am still playing for Grizzlymon because you do need some time to set up All Force with your Tamers, or just put, a bunch of Digimon on field. So you still do need Grizzlymon to protect your security, and they're just basically essential in every deck. That's essentially the reason why I'm playing him. And then 2 Gorillamon, I would definitely play more, but the fact that this is a Vidramon focused deck, you do need to play Vidramon, so you can resolve things like Rina Shinomiya, and just having the cool inheritable effect from things like Vidramon Zero is nice, but the 1 cost to Digivolve is awesome as well. So, speaking of Vidramon, I'm playing 2 of the Jamming Vidramon and 2 Vidramon Zero. Vidramon Zero, I love his inheritable effect because it is not actually once per turn, so if you do have All Force on top of him, you can draw multiple cards off of that effect, so it's just absolutely fantastic, and he even helps you get set up if you choose to attack with him directly. So I would honestly consider playing more of this guy. The only reason I'm not is I'll get to the next champion after these guys. And then this Vidramon, of course, just fantastic because you typically always have a blue tamer in play. So jamming is just a nice effect, and it helps you pick off your opponent's security when you want to get ahead. So then this card, so Garurumon or Kendo Garurumon, this is one of the new cards out of Great Legend. It is a very interesting card because you get to Digivolve it on top of a blue tamer as if that tamer was a level 3 Digimon. So it is very good in the sense that you don't need to run extra rookies, hence why my count is only at 12 in this deck. And it is nice because, you can surprise your opponent if they weren't expecting it and then just start swinging. And his effect where when you're attacking, that you can return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to their hand is pretty solid. Now, going forward, I mainly played this card because, one, I'm a huge fan of Digimon Frontier, and I wanted to test this guy out as soon as I saw he was revealed. But going forward, if you wanted to make like the most optimal All Force Vidramon deck, I would probably suggest cutting him in favor of things like maybe extra Vidramons or Gorillamon, just because like he is solid. However, for one, you are playing a lot of blue tamers in this deck, so that's essentially why I got the idea. It's always nice to have that option to go for that. But a lot of the tamers in this deck you don't really want to use to Digivolve. You want to keep them to use with All Force Vidramon's effect, and the fact that he's a 3 cost, it just gives me the feeling like there's better options in terms of champions. 3 cost is very heavy, especially when in this deck I'm already only playing like 2 tamers. Well, 2 copies of the same tamer that gives you that 3 memory of return. But yeah, Kendo Garurumon solid, but you can mess around with them. There was actually Beowulfmon who got leaked yesterday. Or I guess at the time of this video, that was like 2 days ago. But anyway, so that might be another option because he does have that jamming effect. But yeah, whatever. You guys can build whatever kind of deck you want. This is just my take. Anyway, so we got Aero Veedramon here. He is probably one of the best ultimates just because he has an inheritable effect where whenever your Digimon becomes active, aka All Fours Veedramon, they get jamming for the rest of the turn. So All Fours Veedramon essentially becomes invincible when you are swinging on your opponent's security, and his Digivolve effect when if you have a blue tamer, you can make one of your Digimon active, so that includes him or any of your other Digimon that you don't want dying, or maybe if you have a Vmon underneath them, you get to draw a card, something like that. Now the other ultimates I'm playing is Monzaimon, of course, just because he is that 2 to Digivolve. I'm a huge fan of cheap ultimates, cheap champions. It just helps you conserve your memory, and you can honestly play more of him. I'm only playing 8 ultimates just because I had to make room for some other cards. But yeah, and then the other card that I have been sleeping on is Zudomon. Now, I've always liked this card just because his draw 2 effect is amazing. Of course, he's one of those very powerful ultimates that you can splash in a lot of different decks. However, I've been sleeping on his inheritable effect. First of all, it's not once per turn, so if your opponent does have a Digimon without sources, you get to, like, let's say you have an All Fours Veedramon on top of him and you can attack multiple times, you get to gain a memory every single time you attack. So there was times when I was testing this deck where I would just get like 2-3 memory every single turn, not to mention you'll gain a memory from All Forces effect if he does become active. So I think Zudomon is absolutely essential in this deck. And then the last ultimate I'm playing, who you could probably play at multiple copies, but he's also very good where he has an inheritable effect, Magna Angemon, where you can discard one Digivolution source from the bottom of one of your opponent's Digimon, and that's also not once per turn, so when you're attacking multiple times with All Fours Veedramon, or even if you put these cards in like an Imperial Dramon deck, if you want to play Imperial Dramon in this build, for example, these cards are just amazing. The fact that those effects are not once per turn is crazy. And then, of course, the star of the show himself, All Fours Veedramon. If you have a blue tamer that becomes rested, this Digimon becomes active, so things like Rina Shinomiya, things like V-Tamer Tai. To my knowledge, those are the only blue tamers that we can rest with his effect anyways. So those guys are good with him, and then once per turn, if he becomes active, you get to gain a memory. So the essential strategy is just to set up your All Fours Veedramon with a couple of tamers, attack your opponent's security multiple times. Maybe you get jamming with Aero Veedramon, maybe you'll draw a card off of Vmon, maybe you'll shuffle some cards back from your trash with Veedramon. It's just so good, and getting the inheritable effects with his multiple attacking prowess is just absolutely amazing. And the last mega I'm playing here is one Leopardmon, just because I wanted like an extra mega. Like, you do have a lot of draw power and your main goal is to get All Fours, but sometimes if you don't have him, Leopardmon is nice, especially because you can play one of your level 4 lower Digimon from your sources, maybe play a Gabumon, draw a card, maybe play Vmon and then get jamming, and then everything that's level 4 or lower will get jamming. So that's going to do it for the Digimon. And then as far as the Tamers, we've got, of course, 4 Rina Shinomiya. She's amazing because you get to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add one Digimon whose name contains V. So this is any of your Vmon, either of your Veedramons, Aero Veedramon, All Fours. So there's a lot of targets in this deck, and I'm not even playing all of them. There's a secret rare Veedramon you could play if you wanted to, and I'm not even maxing out on the other ones. So if you want to make this as consistent as possible, you could definitely max out on all the Veedramons. But then yeah, just that effect is amazing, and then the fact that you can rest her and give 1,000 to one of your Digimon is awesome as well. 4 V-Tamer Taichi, just because he is an insanely powerful card when you do have Veedramon on the field. Another reason why you might want to play more Veedramons and maybe cut the Kendo Garurumon if you want, is just to draw cards consistently. And then of course, the second effect comes up sometimes, but usually you just want to draw cards. So these cards are absolutely amazing, essential in the All Four strategy, I feel like. And the last tamer here is just 2 Davis, because everything in this deck is blue, so it makes Davis very good. And sometimes you do want that guaranteed 3 memory every single turn, so that is always awesome. But yeah, I didn't want to play more of him just because I'm already playing 10 tamers, and past that it starts to become a little bit inconsistent. And then the last couple of cards here is 3 Upamon and 2 Demi Vmon. Only 2 Demi Vmon. Now, okay, this is a weird ratio, first of all, but only 2 because the only jamming targets I'm playing is like that you have guaranteed is Vmon. I'm not playing any like regular jammers. You could technically get jamming with All Force and with the Veedramon, but I just like Upamon because this effect I feel like comes up way more. So that's why I'm playing it. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you did enjoy this video, go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe for more Digimon content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.